Okay, so she is officially an independent contractor based on the independence that she was allowed to have. There's a long workup on it. It's an interesting read. But the thing that I found interesting, the CRA, which is the contract writer agreement, is enforceable. Wild. I find it very interesting, and we'll have to see what NAG and Little Girl Attorney have to say about it. But for him to say it's enforceable when, and he states that that Wayfarer's claim of lack of consideration doesn't have merit. And he goes on to talk about how the ALA, and this, he separated them because the ALA is unenforceable. So she had no enforcement of, you know, she had to go to work, all that other stuff. So I think he's maybe splitting the baby here, as Nag says, like, because the ALA is unenforceable, technically she wasn't forced to work because they hadn't come under that agreement yet. So the CRA became the agreement of her being on set. So technically, he's writing that that after the writers and actors strikes, that her coming back onto set had some questions, which he puts back into the ALA because they hadn't, not that she hadn't signed it, that's not really, but it's because they both didn't agree. And he states that unless both parties agree, no party agrees. So if both parties are in the contract, no parties are. So I'm quite shocked about that because I thought there was very much no consideration, but I don't know. And this is also where he brings in the discussions of her damages for her businesses, and he's left that up to a jury, which I find very interesting, which will also be able to bring up her reputational damage, which I personally don't think that would play well to a jury. I don't know much about juries, but I personally, if I was on a jury and I heard all her reputational shit, because she opened the door for it, I ain't giving her millions of dollars. So we'll see, but that's a very interesting one to kind of continue, that he was just like, well, there's enough damages, or there's enough kind of discussions about damages that it was her reputational damage rather than her damage as a shareholder, which I find interesting. So it's like not direct damage on the business, but direct damage to her as the face of the business, I think is what he's trying to say. But that's a very interesting finding. I wasn't expecting that.